Welcome to WNOK, the place you come when you're all alone. I'm Dr. Feelright, waiting to take your calls on another rainy night in the city. Need a friend? Dr. Feelright's gonna take you in. Let's get back to the phone lines. Alice on 2. What's on your mind tonight, Alice?
Dr. Jensen?
It's one of my regular patients from the office, Alice Stone. I recognized her voice. My regulars didn't call the station as a rule, but I'd take this call. She was clinically depressed and suffered from dissociative disorder, but was generally harmless when left to her own devices. This is Dr. Feelright. What's on your mind?
You're gonna be upset with me.
I'm not here to judge you, Alice. Just want to help. Now tell me what's going on.
I've made a mess in your room.
My room? What room? Where are you, Alice? What sort of mess?
There's blood. Lots of blood.
Are you in danger, Alice? Are you hurt? Tell me what's going on.
No, I'm not hurt. I'm not in danger.
Whose blood, then? I hear rustling sounds in the background. Alice, this is live radio. We need to keep things moving. What's this about the blood?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's your wife's.
My wife's? Not something you hear on live radio every day. What are you talking about, Alice? Where are you?
I'm at your house. In your room.
I snap my fingers to get my producer's attention. I mute the mic and tell her to call 911 to send the cops to my house. I hear you, Alice. I can tell that you're upset. You must be scared.
Yes.
I'm here to help you. Tell me, why do you think you're at my house? How is it that you know where I live?
I've seen it before. From the outside. I found the property records.
And that was plausible. I suppose, but my house was owned by a family trust. It would have taken some doing.
She woke up before she died.
She was softly crying now.
I cut her throat like you told me. But she opened her eyes and she saw me before she died.
He? Who is he?
The man who talks to me sometimes.
Is he there now?
No.
More rustling, like maybe she was wiping her nose.
Oh, yes, he's here. But only in my head. But he's quiet now.
Now I need to know precisely where you are, Alice, so I can call an ambulance. It sounds like someone is hurt.
She isn't hurt. She's dead.
Alice, I insist that you tell me where you are.
I've already told you I'm in your house. In your room.
No. And you're alone. No one is there with you.
No. Well, just your wife, but...
The man who tells you things. You're saying he's not real. He's not really there.
Oh, he's real. I just can't see him.
Jesus Christ. This woman's more messed up than I realized. Nothing I'd seen from her to date indicated this kind of delusion. She was young, though. Maybe the onset of schizophrenia. What's the address where you are, Alice? It's very important that you tell me right now.
You don't know your own address?
If you're really at my house, how did you manage to get in without tripping the alarm?
Man.
The man. He let you in?
No, he told me about the key under the plant. He gave me the code to disarm the alarm.
Alice, tell me. This is very important. Are you listening?
Yes.
There's never been any key under a plant at my house. Maybe you thought you went to my home, but you went somewhere else. Look around for a piece of mail or something. I need to be sure where you are, otherwise I can't help you. There was more rustling sounds, then came another voice. A sweet little voice I knew all too well. It was my daughter. My little baby girl.
Daddy?
Fear gripped my throat.
Daddy? Mommy's got blood. I can't get her to wake up. She's got blood.
Baby? Oh my fucking god, this bitch has my daughter. Why was Jamie even there? She was supposed to have stayed the night with one of her little friends. Baby, why are you at home? I thought that you would stay the night with Stacy.
I got scared. Mommy came and got me.
Mommy? No, what was happening? This couldn't be.
She won't wake up.
Mommy's tired, baby. Listen, could you please give the phone back to the other lady? There was an indeterminate silence, but finally...
You see?
It was Alice.
I told you the truth. I wouldn't lie to you, Dr. Jensen.
What have you done? I needed to stay calm. I needed to keep Alice calm. My little girl's life was hanging in the balance. Alice, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Where is my daughter now?
She's here. On the bed. She's talking to her mother, holding her hand, and crying a little. I think she's scared.
But she's safe, right? She's not in any danger, is she?
Oh, no. The man told me she's a princess and mustn't be touched. She's good. Not like her mother. Her mother was evil and needed to die. She had to die, not like little Jamie. Little Jamie's good and mustn't be touched.
The man knows, right? The man's good?
Yes, he's good. He's a good man.
This was beyond horrifying, beyond surreal. My wife was supposed to have been home alone, and she was supposed to have been alone.
Dr. Jensen? Dr. Jensen, I hear something. Someone's coming in the house.
Oh, thank Christ. Good, that's good. I think it's the police, Alice. They're coming to help you.
But I'm scared. I'm scared they'll hurt me.
No, they won't hurt you. They're gonna help you. Trust me, Alice. You trust me, right?
Yes, I trust you.
Good. Good. The police are there to help you. In fact, why don't I have them bring you where I am? Would you like that?
Yes, I like that very much.
Good, me too. Listen, why don't you send Jamie out into the hall to get them? Okay, it's a big house. They might get lost. Alice? Alice?
I don't think they're here to help me, Dr. Jensen. I think I need to leave.
Alice? No, wait. I hear a clunking sound like maybe the phone had fallen to the floor. Alice! No, Alice! Complete silence. The most horrifying, terrifying sound I'd ever heard. I kept calling out to her, to Alice, and then to my daughter, but there was no sound at all from the other end. She'd taken her. That crazy bitch had taken my little girl. I got up, I started for my car without even having to make a decision, without speaking a word to my producer. I had to get home. I kept the call open and listened best I could as I ran. And once I had started my car, the call synced up with the communication system. Just as I broke through the parking garage gate and squealed out into the street, I heard voices on the line. Frenetic, distant voices, but they were moving closer. Closer, and then there was a protracted commotion, which from my impotent perspective was excruciating, but finally, someone picked up the phone.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
This is Officer Steele. I'm in your bedroom with your wife?
Yes. What about my daughter?
We haven't found anyone. I have officers securing the house and EMTs are working on your wife. Are you saying your daughter is here?
Yes, my daughter is with Alice. Alice Stone, that's whose phone you're holding. They were just here a few minutes before. I was talking to them. I could hear several officers speaking, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. And then...
Dr. Jensen, are you saying your daughter is supposed to be here? We haven't found anyone else in the house, just your wife.
Then check outside. Okay, they couldn't have gotten far. They must have... They were just there. Right before you picked up the phone. Please. God, please. Just... She's got her. My daughter is in grave danger. Please find her. Okay, please. More garbled talking on the other end of the call, and then...
Who is the lady?
Alice Stone. She's a patient of mine. She's not well. She broke into my house. Please, find them.
We're looking. Listen, do you know what kind of car she drives?
I have no idea. Officer Steele started to say something, but then the call dropped. I tried to call back several times, but it kept going straight to voicemail. I was all alone, racing down the rain-soaked interstate towards my house, towards what I was coming to believe was a tragedy of my own creation. None of the patients I'd ever used the deep hypnosis techniques on had ever been aware of the fact that they'd been hypnotized, including Alice. And they'd all proved to be very susceptible to suggestion. Alice had been exceptionally so, which is why I chose her. Of course, I'd instructed her that my daughter wasn't to be harmed on the off chance that she might have crossed paths, but I thought I'd taken care of all that. Why had my wife gone to get her? Why? As I sped along at a speed too high to be safe on the wet roads, what I came to focus on was how likely it was that Alice would follow my instructions. Where Jamie was concerned, could I trust her? Or more aptly, could I trust that I'd effectively instilled that dictum? Had I, or was she too scared up in the head to be counted on? She'd followed the instructions about my wife. Wouldn't she follow the one about Jamie? Wouldn't she? Why the rush? The voice had come from behind, and it startled me, but I knew its demonic timbre all too well. I knew whom it was that was in my back seat. My old friend had come to call. Please, I begged, please, you gotta help me. Seems all I've ever done is help you. What have you done for me? But this is different. It's my little girl. I made no deal with your little girl. This is a situation of your own creation. But she's innocent. Really? I glanced in the rearview mirror and caught a glimpse of his harsh profile as a light from an oncoming car rushed past. In my experience, I found that we're all a little guilty. No, you don't understand. I understand perfectly well. It's you who seems confused. You wanted special gifts, special talents, and I gave them to you. You wanted the ability to influence people, to control their minds. He roared a malevolent laugh. I could smell the stench of his breath. And I gave you that, too. As if you have the capacity to understand the first thing about it. This isn't right. It isn't fair. Fair. You speak to me of fair. What about your wife? Lying dead in your bed over nothing more than her misfortune of having married such a small little man. One who couldn't deal with the rigors of upright life. How fair was that for her? Who are you to talk to me about fair? There was more to say, more pleading to do, but I couldn't find the words. This will end as it ends, he said. And however it turns out, you will keep the knowledge that all of it, every last drop, came by your hand. My driveway was filled with police cruisers and an ambulance. So I pulled along the curb in front of my house. I glanced in the mirror as I came to a stop. As expected, my old friend was gone. I noticed several officers walking toward my car. They didn't seem in any particular hurry. I got out to face them. Their expressions were grim. Hey there kids, it's me, Mr. Creepypasta, and I wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video or listening to tonight's episode of the podcast. If you guys are confused about what I'm talking about every time I say tonight's video or tonight's episode of the podcast, you can always find out more about that at youtube.com/MrCreepypasta, where you can subscribe and get the latest video. Or if you're listening to the videos, then you can find it on Spotify under Mr. Creepypasta Storytime, and you can listen to this as a podcast, if you want to save yourself your data. Or if you're listening on the podcast and you're like, man, what episode is this? I don't know how to find more of this or what came before it. Check out the YouTube. There's full playlists of all the series, and they go years back, which I can't do on the podcast, unfortunately. And like always, I want to give a big thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon. You guys, as always, are the real MVPs. And I really appreciate it. If you guys want to join them, you can head over to patreon.com/MrCreepypasta and see all these cool, fine folk that I'm about to mispronounce the names of here or in the description down below. People such as Jacob Schaefer, Zach, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Brian Arce, Ken Lendo Higuchi, Bobby Carmen, Tristan Pelton, Chase Burnett, Diana Kraus, Melancholy Corpse, Hollow Zero, Ferb, Harley, Tainted Raven, Katie Birch, Sashi Suzaku, Katrina Beasel, Caden the Spooky Boy, Zane Nightshade, My Body Sounds Like Rice Krispies, Ashwood, Lord of the Weebs, Jay, Miss Zandra, Mr. Unsettling Spaghetti, Eurogore, Suji Campbell, Marco Takes Dabs 420, Stricken, Azreen Fox, Robert White, Andre Garcia, Snails Brennard, Legit Quad Feed, Fried Chicken 12, James Bruce, Chris Levins, Freddy Krueger, Ty Nanny, 1-800-Nightmare, Unknown Nobody, Michael Scarborough, Infernal One, James Lowe, Lisa Cottrell, Jimbo the Hutt, Caspian, Jordan Nels, Hades' Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Cryptic Nightmares, Brennan Wright, Someone You Love, Kiri the Sloth, Tommy Green, Liam Newman, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Nina Smith, Nico Kyle, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, Trace Miles, and Corey Kenshin. Thank you guys, as always, for supporting the channel. You're all wonderful. I love every single one of you guys. For real. You guys help me out so much, as well as everybody down there in the description below, as well as everybody else who watches and subs and does everything else for this channel. Thank you guys so much. And as always, sweet dreams.